The sun was sinking low over the western plains, casting long golden shadows across the open fields when the cowboy first saw her. A thin, dirt-covered girl crouched near the hitching post, her trembling hands trying to untie a sack of grain she had no right to touch. The townsfolk had already branded her a thief, a troublemaker, and a curse on any ranch she crossed. She had been chased out of more places than she could count, her name whispered with suspicion, her presence unwelcome in every saloon, stable, or barn she tried to find work in. But the cowboy, a man named Jacob Rourke who had lived his whole life by the quiet code of fairness, saw something different in the girl's frightened eyes. She wasn't stealing out of greed, she was stealing to survive. Without a word, he walked up, his spurs clinking against the hard ground, and when she spun around ready to run, he stopped her with nothing more than the calm steadiness in his voice. "You're hungry," he said, his tone not accusing but matter of fact. "You're not a thief." For a long moment, the girl stared at him, her jaw tight, her hands still gripping the sack, and then something in her gave way. She dropped it, straightened her back, and muttered, "Everyone says I am. Everyone calls me one. Guess I might as well be." That was the moment Jacob decided against every whisper of judgment he'd heard from the townsfolk that he would take her in. He gave her a place to stay on his ranch, meals at his long wooden table, and work that gave her dignity instead of shame. Her name was Clara, and though she carried the weight of being branded a thief, Jacob treated her as though she was someone worth saving. Still, life on a ranch wasn't easy. She worked hard, cleaning stalls, mending fences, and wrangling cattle until her hands blistered. But Jacob noticed something in her: stubborn fire, grit, and a restless energy that needed shaping. One evening, as a storm rolled across the mountains, he handed her an old revolver and said, "If you're gonna make it out here, you'll need to know how to defend yourself. Thieves aren't always the ones stealing food. Sometimes they steal land, or freedom, or lives." At first, Clara laughed bitterly. "Me, a thief, learning to shoot. That'll only make them hate me more." But Jacob shook his head. "No, it'll make you stronger than their hate." And so the lessons began. Day after day, Jacob took her out into the fields beyond the corral, teaching her to steady her breath, to keep her shoulders loose, to focus not on the noise around her but on the target in front of her. She missed more than she hit at first, her frustration boiling over until she nearly threw the revolver into the dirt. But Jacob never raised his voice. Instead, he reminded her of something few had ever said: "You've got it in you. Just need to trust it." Slowly, the misses became hits. The scattered shots began to group together. Her aim sharpened. Her confidence grew, and before long, Clara could outshoot nearly any ranch hand that came by Jacob's land. The whispers from town spread again, but this time they carried awe. "That girl Rourke's girl, she shoots straighter than any son could have." But the true test came one night when the ranch was threatened. A band of men, greedy for Jacob's cattle and land, rode in under cover of darkness, guns at their sides and cruelty in their eyes. Jacob stood ready, but he was outnumbered, and for a moment it seemed the ranch would fall. Then Clara stepped forward, her revolver steady in her grip, her face carved with the determination of someone who had been doubted too long. "You don't belong here," she said, her voice carrying across the wind. The men laughed, mocking her, calling her nothing but a runaway thief. But the laughter died when she raised her gun and fired a warning shot that split the night clean in half, striking a post so close to the leader's hand that he dropped his own weapon. The bandits shifted uneasily, realizing this girl, this supposed thief, was no ordinary ranch hand. She was steel and fire, her aim truer than theirs, her will unbreakable. One by one, they backed off, muttering curses but retreating into the darkness, unwilling to test their luck against her. When the dust settled and the danger passed, Clara lowered her revolver, her chest heaving, her heart pounding in her ears. Jacob placed a hand on her shoulder, pride shining in his weathered eyes. "Told you," he said softly. "You're stronger than what they call you." That night, by the firelight, Clara sat silent for a long time, staring at the flames. For the first time in years, she felt something other than anger or shame. She felt like she belonged. She was no longer just a girl branded as a thief. She was a protector, a fighter, someone who could carve her own name. into the world instead of letting others do it for her. The ranch became her home, Jacob her family, and the legend of the girl who shot straighter than any sun spread far beyond their valley. Folks who had once spat her name in disgust now spoke it with respect, and Clara knew she had finally shed the weight of the brand others had forced on her. She wasn't a thief. She was proof that no label, no judgment, no whisper could define a person unless they let it. And as the embers glowed and the plains stretched endless beneath the stars, Jacob smiled, knowing the girl he had once caught stealing was destined to stand taller, stronger, and prouder than any outlaw or coward who ever tried to tear her down. If you enjoyed this powerful cowboy story of redemption and strength, make sure to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more heart-touching Western tales that inspire and entertain. Don't miss the next story, we've got more coming your way.